video. There, that's better. Okay, now I have a better idea of what you can see. So yeah, just wait a minute or so to get started. And how is the energy level for you all today? Is there anyone who's needing a little bit more movement and heat today? This kind of gray, rainy day here in Southwest Germany, or wherever you're joining from. Do you need a little bit more, feel good, take it easy, and deep, relaxed feeling? You can go really in either direction or in both directions. I'm going to try to provide you with a nice mix. My plan for today's class is a fun one called Yoga for A-types. And that's one of these terms from classical psychology. You have A-types and B-types, those people who tend to need rigid structure and directions, and also this feeling of controlling things and doing things, versus B-types is a little bit more go with the flow, relaxing. You'll cross that bridge when you come to it. And honestly, I think it's best when we both give ourselves what we need. So doing yoga that really feels good for you in the moment and that you like, but also for those of us who are very comfortable in our lives, be that through a more sedentary lifestyle, working, for example, at home a lot, or specifically in a chair, sitting down a lot, then when we're too comfortable, we also need to be pushed outside of our comfort zone for our optimal self-development. And in the yoga tradition, this is known as sadhana. Sadhana is a Sanskrit word that means spiritual practice. And the essence of it, as I understand, is finding that middle way. So you turn away with more objectivity from your desires, from your cravings, be it that craving for chocolate or that craving for exactly the kind of experience you were hoping for. But also, it's an equal neutral perspective on those things that we shy away from. So when we have certain behaviors or habits, even in other people, that turn us off and think, oh, that's not really for me, I don't like it that way. Sadhana is also pausing and taking a moment to understand what is that in you that has that sort of negative feeling, that reaction either way. So in this way, when we practice yoga and when we do it in a way that moves us towards our development, towards feeling good, towards feeling free, and towards our personal best, that our practice can help us do both of those things. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with a classic relaxation here on the ground. I like to call this the breath of 5 sighs. Sighing when we let the breath in through the nose, but then making a sound with the breath, usually out through the mouth. And the body really likes to make sounds. So just make sure you have your microphone muted and you can make all of the sounds that you like, and don't worry at all. So you can decide what feels best for you today in your relaxation position. This could be with your knees up and your feet on the floor, or you could extend your legs long. We're going to briefly activate and tense the muscles in the body to get a deeper release. And we'll use our breath especially the exhale breath, to enjoy that release feeling a little more. So let's start with the legs and the lower body. Now, to protect your lower back, you want to push your seat down into the ground when we do this. So on an inhale, push your seat into the ground and lift your legs. If this is too much, you could just lift one leg at a time. Squeeze all of the muscles in your legs, and on an exhale, let the legs drop as you sigh. And notice what that feels like. See if you can use your next exhale to feel a little bit more. Now we're going to do something similar with just the upper body. We'll use our arms here to lift the chest. So on an inhale, push your forearms into the ground as you lift your heart up, making a little bridge under your back. On an exhale, sigh and let your upper body rest a little heavier into the ground. Now we'll do that with the entire back body. So on an inhale, you're going to lift your hips, lift your whole body as you push your heels, push your shoulders into the ground. On your next inhale, come up a little bit more, and exhale, set the whole body down into the ground. And with your next exhale, see if you can settle a little more. Now we're going to use the breath to concentrate, to pull inwards with our awareness and our feeling. I like to close my eyes for this. On an inhale, close your hands and squeeze your shoulders up to your ears. Squeeze all of the muscles in your legs, in your upper body inwards. Even squeeze your face muscles, the so-called lemon face. Inhale and squeeze a little bit more. Exhale, release all of that. And on your next exhale, see if you can release a little more. Lastly, we'll see if we can use the breath to open and create a feeling of lightness in the body. For this, it can be helpful to engage all of the muscles at once. So again, we'll push the seat down to support the back. Inhale, lift your lower body and your upper body. Reach in all directions. As you open your eyes, you can open your mouth and look above your forehead. On an exhale, sticking out your tongue, release everything. And then feel that. On your next exhale, see if you can feel inwards a little bit more. And if you need to adjust your position, please do so you can rest here for about the next minute and a half. Just giving yourself the time to breathe easy, your natural breath, and to tune inwards to how you're feeling right now, right here. Let your entire awareness rest in the feeling of your physical body. And simply notice your natural breath. Notice the rise of each inhale and the fall of each exhale. Soft and relaxed. Always breathing in through the nose whenever that's possible. And if it feels easy and good, Breathing out through the nose smoothly and relaxed. Really take your time here for a complete exhale. And let your inhales naturally arise. Let your exhales be long, continuous, and complete. And simply notice what you notice and feel what you feel. And at the end of your next exhale, slowly begin to deepen your breathing. And take your time with this. Let it be easy. And let the breath stay soft. No force needed. Just taking a little bit more time with the next inhale. And then also taking as much time as you need to complete every exhale. So in this way, and in your own time, you're going to come to a very long and still smooth and still easy breath. Gentle pause. And then exhale and see if you can balance the breath. So you take the same time, the same strength of each breath out, breathing all the way out. Go ahead and continue like this, a couple more rounds. And again, see if you can notice the length of each inhale, its strength or intensity. And with your exhales, enjoy the same length, that same strength of feeling with each breath out. So by now you should be at something like your longest, but still comfortable breathing. We're going to continue breathing this deep belly breath, filling up from the bottom, through the middle, even the top of the lungs, perhaps rising under your collarbones. And then taking the time to release the breath the same way out, from the top, through the middle, and the bottom of each breath, fully release. And you can count this if it helps you. Perhaps you notice the sound of the clock in my room, or you can simply use your own count. And you can aim for something like an 8-second inhalation, a gentle pause, and then take that same count, that same time, so maybe aiming for 8 seconds with every breath out. Complete release. Now, if 8 seconds feels too long or too short, then please modify and adjust so that, again, you have a feeling of fullness, of space opening up, but no difficulty, no strain. And with your exhales, the time is just right so that you get a complete breath out. And we'll continue breathing like this. 5 more of these long, full, but still comfortable inhales. And 5 times, take your smoothest, your gentlest, but still thoroughly breathing all of the old air out. And at the end of your next full exhalation, you can release this practice and simply return to your natural breathing. Taking a moment again here before we get started moving, to just notice again what you notice and feel what you feel. Especially noticing if there's anything different, any changes in sensation, any feelings that you might not have felt before. Now we all want to show up fully in our lives. We want to be present for our loved ones. We want to meet the people in our lives with compassion, with tender, loving care, so that we are an inspiration and a joy for others. But the truth of the matter is that we can't give what we don't have, and we can't have what we won't receive. So the aim of today's practice is to give yourself that compassion and care that you want to be able to bring in all of your actions, in all of your conversations with everyone you meet today. And so you might want to ask yourself, as we get ready for our physical practice, what is that quality of yourself that you want to offer to yourself and to the world? Whatever that quality is, you might want to repeat it to yourself in a positive, short and sweet way. For example, I am loving, I am kind, I am fully here. And when you feel ready, start to wake up your physical body, moving your fingers and toes, letting these small movements just spontaneously get bigger when it feels right. And then bending the knees if you haven't already. And we'll just start with a hug here on your back. Be sure to keep your back nice and long, especially your tail lower to the ground, reaching away from your head. And then give your legs a little bit more squeeze into the body. Even as you inhale deeply into the belly, you can exhale and squeeze a little bit more. And then we'll just roll on the back from side to side. Noticing how that feels. And perhaps rolling up and down a bit, if that feels good. Just be careful not to roll on your neck. But you can roll on the rest of the back to give it a nice massage. And however much you've been moving, slow it down, make it a little smaller, and then come back to your grounded resting pose on your back. And bring your knees together in your hands. We'll start by moving the knees in a circle in one direction. The goal of this movement is to feel your sacrum. Now that's pretty much the lowest part of your back, Kreuzbein auf Deutsch. That's the part of your spine where the bones are connected. They move together. And then pause after your next circle, and let's move in the second direction. So I like to keep the knees together here and move them in the hands. If that feels, for any reason, uncomfortable or too sensitive, you can always make your knees a little farther apart and still see if you can guide the movement with your hands. Great. One more circle like this, and then bring your knees now above your hips. We're going to do a little bit of core work here while we're still on the ground. This is really great both to strengthen our middle, but also this will help support the lift of the body when we come into our standing poses. It will even help support your easy, deep breathing. So we'll start here just with your legs, your lower legs parallel to the ground, and your back long on the floor, head resting on the floor for now. And we're going to start here by engaging the core, engaging your abdomen and the abdominal muscles into the body, and still breathing deep. So on an inhale, pull the navel into the body, and let the air, let your breath move more into your upper body, your chest. And exhale, soften your chest, soften your breath. And release that squeezing. So we'll do that one more time before we add some movement to it. You might want to imagine like you're putting on a pair of very tight pants. So as you inhale, the navel pulls in, but your hip bones also pull inwards. You're squeezing around your waist, and the breath is able to move more into the upper part of your breathing room now. And let's hold that squeezing as we exhale, and then release that. And just take an easy breath. And we're going to try to hold that engagement, hold that energy in your middle as we add some toe tap movement. So on an inhale, engage your center, and exhale, lower the toes to the ground without moving your knee, and then inhale back up. Exhale, lower the second foot down to the ground. The knee stays stable right where it is, and inhale back up. And we'll keep going like this about 4 or 5 more times. So the entire time you're holding your center and still breathing deep. Please move with your breath here. And if you're squeezing the muscles of your face, if you're clenching your teeth or even grinding them, that's a little bit too much. So relax your face. Relax your forehead, your chin, and your neck as you continue this toe tap movement with your breath. So actually moving slower here is going to be more challenging for most of us. And so I invite you to really stay with your natural, flowing, but very relaxed breathing rhythm. We'll do that one more time. One leg at a time. Inhaling to come back up, and exhaling. It's okay if the toes don't touch. We're just moving them in the direction of the ground. And this time, just one time, Inhale, pull the navel in, and exhale. Let's see if we can lower both toes down to the ground. And then inhale back up. On an exhale, squeeze your legs into the body. And if it feels good, breathe out the mouth. That's a great way to release tension and some extra heat. And then go ahead and lift your legs up all the way. So, or as vertical as you can get them, especially the upper leg, your thigh is perpendicular to the floor, but you can always bend your knees a bit. Spread your toes here. And then on an exhale, we're going to lower down one leg part of the way. Doesn't matter how far you go. It could be 1/3, maybe 1/2, or almost touching the ground, but not touching. You can keep your hands on the ground here or bring your arms and your hands above your heart. We're going to breathe deep again, holding your center. So really imagine you're putting on those tight pants again, squeeze the belt around your waist, and then inhale, come back up with that first leg. Exhale, feel free to breathe out the mouth. Inhale, activate both legs. So the bottom of your feet reach up, and on your exhale, we're going to lower that second leg down. Any amount is good. Just make sure, again, you're not clenching your teeth and that you're not sacrificing your breath. So we can still breathe deep at whatever height we're holding the leg. I'm going to take 2 more deep breaths here. Now this side might be different. You might need to bend the knee a little bit more here. Let's inhale, pull the belly in as you come back up. Exhale, squeeze. I like to drop my feet to the floor and just let the knees move side to side after doing some of that core work. Feel free to do that or some of that squeezing and massaging if that feels good. We have one more stabilizer for our core. This is going to be Navasana, the boat pose. So for this one, you want to find a tall seat with your upper back. And there's a couple of variations here. So you want to sit in a way where your lower back is long, especially. And you can pull into your center, activate the middle, and come onto your toes now. That can be one variation. And you can put the hands behind the knees or on the floor for extra support. Next variation will bring the legs up parallel to the floor again and lift your heart, lengthen your neck. You can hold again behind the knees for more support or bring your arms parallel, the hands facing inward. And again, we're going to do that little movement with the breath. This time, let's inhale to extend one leg and exhale, stay here. And we're going to move on the inhale, coming back. On your next inhale, second side, lifting, lift your heart. And then on your inhale, come back. We'll do one more each side. Inhaling, spread the toes, exhale, and inhale back to center. On your next inhale, second side, second time, and this time we're going to bring the first leg to meet it. On the inhale, coming into the full version of your boat today. Shaking is very good here. And then exhale, bend the knees, cross the ankles, and go ahead and just touch your forehead in between your knees or in the direction of the knees. Wonderful. Then come down to your hands and your knees. And if you're still wearing socks, it's a little bit colder today, then this is a good time to take your socks off. We're just going to get moving here in any way that feels good. Especially you want to feel good in your knees. If your knees cause you any discomfort here in hands and knees pose, then just fold your mat to the side or use some extra cushion, perhaps a blanket. On an inhale, drop your belly as you lift your tail back and look up. As you exhale, tuck your chin to the chest and get round. Lift your navel. So on your inhale, your inner thighs reach back and out, your sitting bones reach out. On your exhale, your tailbone pulls down as you look between your legs or maybe even at your belly button. Sometimes though, I like to just close my eyes when we do this cat and cow stretch, as this helps me let go of those distractions in the outside and focus a little bit more on those sensations, on those interactions on the inside. Noticing how does this movement change your feeling of your breathing, and how does the breathing support the pose? So on your inhale, let the belly be really soft, hanging low like a cow. And as you exhale, pull the belly in, getting really round like an angry cat. And let the movement just be in any way that feels good as you feel your natural, easy breath. And at the end of your next exhale, come to a neutral position. And then we're going to squeeze the sides to open the sides. So on an exhale, squeeze your shoulder towards your hip on the same side. And inhale back to center, neutral spine. Exhale, squeeze the second side. So we're opening the side body by squeezing the muscles a little bit. And then inhale back to center. Good stuff. Now we're going to take a little twist here. So we're going to twist first to the right, which means we'll bring the right hand a little bit more to the center. And then inhale, lift your left arm up. And then on an exhale, you're going to bring your left arm underneath your right. And then slowly come down onto or towards the ground with your left shoulder. It's okay if you can't get all the way down. You can just use the arm here for support. Breathe into your belly and lengthen the back. As you exhale, you're going to soften in your twist. Now the hips tend to scoot over away from center a bit. So we're just going to scoot the hips just a little bit back to the left. As you inhale, really feel the length of your body, especially that twisted side. And as you exhale, see if you can breathe into any of those tight spaces, those hard spaces, and just soften them with your breath. And take one more long, smooth inhale here. One more complete, lovely exhale here. And then on an inhale, we'll come out. Activate your middle. Pull the navel in as you lift up, open up, maybe even looking up. And then exhale back to hands and knees and a neutral spine. It's really important to take the time again to feel when we work one side at a time to notice if there's any differences. Second side, left hand in the middle. Inhale the right arm up, opening your chest. Exhale, follow the right arm underneath the left. And this side might be very different. So you might come down lower, or you might just stay where you are. However far feels good. Now, if your hips have shifted, we're going to gently scoot them back to more central position. So that if I look at my knees, it is possible to look at both of the knees in this pose. If you move around a little bit, you see your knee more or less right underneath your hips. Now this left arm, your supporting arm here, can be right by the head. For a little bit more stretch, if you want it, you can also walk your fingers over your head so that your bicep, your upper arm, is above your ear. Ooh, that's a big stretch. This doesn't have to be the biggest or deepest work yet. It's just about feeling something. Remembering that these poses and the breathing work here is just for your observation. So you can notice something, so you can feel something, and then of course, remember your breath. Now wherever you are, come back to where you were, Inhale, belly in and opening up. And then exhale, back to hands and knees. One more time, just feeling your length of the spine and feeling its natural curves. On an inhale, the right leg up, and exhale, step it forward. So if you need to, help the foot forward so that the heel, the back of the foot, is right underneath the knee, and the knee is following the middle line of your foot, right behind toe number 2, or between toe 2 and 3. And come onto your fingertips here. Breathe length into your back. Energize your middle a little bit by pulling your legs into the body. And then exhale back to hands and knees. Let's try the other side. Inhale, lift that left leg up, and then exhale, step it forward. So we're in a low lunge here. We might come onto the fingertips to get a little bit more height through the arms, but the work here is all through the legs. Now the back foot can be extended with the toes long, or tuck the toes into the ground, whatever feels better for your knees. But either way, you want to activate both of your legs into the body so you can lengthen your back just a little bit more. Pull the belly in, use the strength of your legs to support the back, and then exhale back to hands and knees. Now tuck the toes, engage your middle, inhale, lift up, and exhale, downward facing dog. We'll be here in downward dog for a few breaths, so you might pedal your dog if that feels good, especially the first dog of the day. It can be really nice to take that deep stretch of one side by bending the other knee. And after pedaling the feet a couple of times, bend both of your knees, look forward, and then exhale, step forward, or walk, or hop even, to a forward bend. Now in this forward bend, you want your feet to be parallel, and you want to have about hip distance, or even a little bit more than hip distance. That's 2 fists in between your hands, and the outside of your feet parallel with those outside lines of your mat. Now bend your knees until you can touch the ground, easy. And then go ahead and grab your elbows in your hands. And let your head be heavy, your neck is long and free. Deep breathing here. And we'll start to activate the legs again. So on an inhale, lift your butt a little bit more up. And then exhale, soften into your forward bend. You can bend the knees again. Inhale, lengthen the legs by activating the upper legs, lifting your knees up into your body, and then exhale, softening into the bend, and then release the hands, and we'll come up now, nice and slow. So we've been in this forward bend about a minute, so you really want to take your time to unroll and just feel that. Go as slow as you can. Your head and your neck, the last thing to come up. Good. Okay, we're just going to do a couple sun salutations to warm up the whole body. So come to the front of your mat. Hands by your side and stand tall. Notice your natural breath here. On an inhale, lift the arms. And exhale, hands to the center of your heart. Inhale, activate your legs as you reach up. Exhale, fold from your hips, forward bend. Inhale, right leg back. And then exhale the left leg into plank. We'll breathe here for one breath, pulling the belly in to get long through the whole body. And then exhale, lower the knees, the chest, and then the chin. Now, ready for Cobra. It's the first Cobra, so we might take it really gentle, bringing the elbows close to your body and pointing your feet long. Inhale, activate the legs, activate your core to reach forward and up, but make sure you're not squeezing your neck with your shoulders. Instead, pull your shoulders away from your ears. And then exhale, release, back to downward facing dog. One breath here to notice the balance of the pose. Notice how it feels. And then bend your knees. On an exhale, step that right leg forward. On your next exhale, bring the left leg to meet it. Inhale. We can come up with that same roll, or we can come up via chair pose. Bend your knees and lift your whole upper body. Exhale. Set the whole body down and breathe deep. Mountain pose. In and out to the center. Inhale. Reach up from a strong center. Exhale, fold forward from your hips. Inhale the left leg back, high lunge, and then exhale the right leg for plank. Now pull the belly in as you push your feet away from you and reach the top of your head forward. And then on your exhale, I really want you to try dropping the knees first so you can feel how your shoulders are connected and fully supported in the strength of your back so they don't collapse forward or roll out of the body. And then we'll use that same support of now the lower body. So push your feet into the ground as you pull your belly in and up, Cobra pose. Exhale, chin to the chest, downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Notice your hands nice and big. Notice the back of your feet, not visible because your legs are nice and parallel. Now this time we'll bend the knees and inhale the left leg forward, high lunge. Exhale the right leg to meet it. Inhale, coming up in the way that feels good in your body. And then exhale, setting the whole body down into a moment of stillness. We'll do that again one more time on each side. In and out. Inhale, strong legs for a long back. Exhale, fold forward, forward bend. Inhale the right leg back. Exhale the left. You can hold the breath here, but lengthen the body or take that breath. And then as you finish the next exhale, lower down, chaturanga, release. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg forward. Exhale the left. Inhale, rise up with one breath. Exhale, settle down. One breath of stillness. In and out. Inhaling, energizing the whole body. Exhale, releasing unnecessary tension. Inhale the left leg. Exhale the right. Reaching long through the whole body as you complete the next exhale, chaturanga. Release. Inhale, Bhujangasana, Cobra. Exhale, Ardha Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Inhale, left leg. And exhale the right. Inhale, lift up, reach up. Exhale, settle down. Notice again how you feel. And notice your natural breathing. You might notice some changes again. More warmth. Maybe even more feeling. Notice what happens as you rest your attention in your breath. We're going to take some of that feeling and probably some of that warmth you've generated to do some nice work for our legs, so important for feeling good in our back. So again, if your legs have come closer together, bring them to hip distance apart, and then inhale, reach up.
And exhale, fold forward, forward bend. We'll take the right leg back first. For this time, a low lunge again on the ground. We're just going to let gravity do a little bit of the opening work here. So we're feeling an opening in the front side of the back leg. You may need to put the knee a little bit more back. And we want to activate both of the legs again. I'm going to take this a little bit deeper when you feel ready. So when you feel your pelvis a little bit more, when you can feel your hips, and when your breath is ready to say, ah. So we'll open the front leg out a little bit to the side for a lizard lunge. And this could be your lizard lunge today, just bringing both of your hands down onto the ground. If you're already feeling a lot of sensation, stay here. If you need a little bit more, you can start to walk your hands forward. But don't let that front knee move away from the body, and make sure that front knee is still in the center of the foot. Some of you are going to be able to come down onto your forearms already. For me, in my lizard lunge, I prefer a block. So always have it right there. You could use anything you have around here that's stable, just to bring those forearms with a little bit of support. And if you like, you can tuck the back toes in and begin to lengthen that back leg. But again, the front knee tends to open away from the body. And then we're not going to get that nice opening through the outer hips. So keep that knee close to you and breathe deep. Wherever you are, take one more breath here. And then mindfully coming out, coming up a little bit. As we get ready for our high lunge. So I'm going to walk that front knee back to the center, my legs in line with my hips. Tucking the back toes into the ground. Inhale, come up. And again, we're going to exhale and let gravity do a lot of the work here. Just make sure that knee is centered, the back leg is active, and we can add the arms, but first bring your arms and bring your shoulders into the back. Activate your center again and pull that tailbone down. Inhale, lift the arms up. Now, if when you lift the arms up, your shoulders squeeze the neck, that's not going to feel very good in the shoulders or the neck, so you might keep your arms a little bit lower. And sometimes doing that tension and release work can help you feel a little easier there. Reach length through the whole body here. And then exhale, folding over your front leg back to Phalakasana, plank. Inhale, length through the whole body. And exhale, Chaturanga. Don't be afraid to come down onto the knees if that's going to bring more stability, integrity to your shoulders. Shoulders back as you inhale, come up for Cobra pose. Exhale, chin to the chest, downward dog. We're going to come right into the second side here. So when you're ready, inhaling that second leg up. Exhale, step it forward and come down onto the back knee. Check the alignment of the front knee. The knee always in the middle of the foot. Using your fingertips might help you get that length in your back, but then we're going to use the strength from the legs. And then we just sit in the pose with deep breath. Notice how you feel on this side. See if you can breathe a little bit more into your pelvis, into your hips. As we prepare to come down for our lizard lunge, we'll open the front foot out to the side, just a little bit, and make space for both hands on the inside of the front foot. Now, maybe this side is as far as you go in your lizard lunge. That's great. Especially if you're noticing a big difference here, you're getting really useful information about your body here, that feedback that you need to be more empowered, to help your body achieve its natural balance and harmony. So trying harder and forcing more is not going to help, but being really patient, observant, and feeling what's going on in your body is going to let the natural intelligence of your body do that good work. So make sure that front knee is hugging close to your body, and you might come down onto some support, so your forearms are not quite on the ground, but maybe on a book or a block, and your breath is really deep. So again, we're getting that opening in the front side of the back leg, and if you want to, you can tuck the toes to lengthen the back leg, but only if you can maintain really deep breath here. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out fully and relaxed. One more breath here. And coming out mindfully of whatever you got into. Coming up, and now everyone tuck that back toe into the ground. And you can bring your hands to your knee or your hips for balance, but you'll need to engage your core as you activate the legs and lift up, high lunge. This side might be more wobbly or a lot easier. Just notice that. And if you want to add the arms, I like to bring the arms forward first to bring the shoulders into the back. And then slowly lift the arms as you inhale, getting that full axial extension of the body, pulling the belly in, pulling the lower ribs down as you lift your pubic bone up. Chin parallel to the earth. We'll take one more deep breath here. And then exhale, hands through the center, and coming onto your hands for Phalakasana, plank. Long body, long breath. Exhale, using the knees, if that brings again that feeling of into the ground. Inhale, Bhujangasana, or maybe even upward dog if the body is asking for it. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe deep here. Enjoy your breath. So now we're going to come down as slowly as you can. I like to come down this way for a little bit more of that stability. Bend your elbows a little bit to the side, and then exhale, spiral the elbows back. So the back side of your elbow is trying to look at your knee. The point of the elbow towards the knee. I'll show you that again. The head dropping closer to the ground as the arms move open, and then exhale, spiraling the arms back, even as you connect the shoulders more into the back, long neck. And then as slowly as you can, lower your knees down, like you were squeezing something between your elbows, a block or a really big ball. And then release. And then we're going to take this down into our final stabilizing pose here, a forearm plank. So start with the elbows under the shoulders and the knees just a little bit behind the hips. Walk one leg back and then the second leg back. Now activate both legs, your feet reaching back. Even as you pull your forearms back, reach your heart forward, your head forward. Bringing again the lower ribs down towards your pubis and the pubic bone up. Breathe deep. And then exhale, release. Come all the way down. You can rest your head on your hands or just look to the side. For a little decompression, we'll bring the elbows underneath the shoulders for Sphinx pose. Again, make sure the shoulders are in the body, not slumping or hunching. And you can use your forearms a little bit just to give you that little lengthening in the back. Breathing deep here. And complete. Coming back down to a prone position, hands by your side, hands and knees, and then bring your toes together and come back to child's pose. So the toes are touching, but the knees can be together or as wide as your hips or even as wide as your mat. Your hands can be above your body, reaching forward, maybe even rounding the hands like you were holding a small ball, cupping your hands, or just rest your arms by your side. That feels good. Settle into this really energizing, restorative pose. Give your body that time to feel. Give yourself the time to notice. Notice what you notice. Notice your breath. And then when you're ready, inhale, rolling up. And I like to bring the knees together for this. We're just going to do a little bit of stretching and opening for the wrists and the hands. So sitting up tall, you're going to make a little fist and squeeze your hands with the thumbs on the outside. And then inhale, open your hands as big as you can, even stretching the palms up and reaching the fingers in all directions. And then exhale, squeeze into that fist again. And this time, roll your fist forward. Show you from the side as well. Inhaling as open as you can, like your fingers were shooting rays of sunshine in all directions. And then exhale, make as small a fist as you can, and then roll that fist forward. Do that about 2 or 3 more times. In connection with your breath. Great. And the next time you open your hands, maybe move the wrist a little bit in circles, and then plant your hands and come back to downward facing dog. Notice again how you feel here, especially noticing hands and wrists, but also the balance of your pose, the strength of the front body matching the strength of the back body, hands, arms, as strong as your feet and legs. And then bend your knees and look forward. And you can either walk or hop, but you can also lift yourself and come forward with your seat between your hands. Just do one more today for our legs before we come down to the ground. So we're going to start with long legs, and I like to open my seat out to the side. This gives me a broader base, makes it easier to sit up tall. And then you can use your hands behind you, fingers, spread them big. And without using your hands, see if you can just use your legs and bend your knee and bring it to the outside of the other leg. Now the foot is active, the ankle is engaged, 90-degree angle in the ankle. And then we'll start to bend that front leg. Any amount is good, as long as you can keep the back long. And again, energy in your center. That feels a lot already, so I think I'll stay there. And try to lengthen my back. Relax the shoulders into the back, so the neck is nice and long again on all sides. And then I'm trying to spread the toes of my lifted leg as I breathe deep into the outer hip. So you can bring that extended leg as close to the body as you need to feel that opening in the outer rotators of the hip. One more breath here. And then slowly release. Take a mental note how that feels. When you're ready, second side. So without touching the legs with your hands, developing a little bit more of the neuromuscular connection, so that intelligence of the body. So as I come into this pretty much like a number 4 stretch with the legs, I am pushing that front knee away from my body with my attention, with my muscles, and spreading the toes again. So activating the foot. As I pull the belly in, I'm lengthening the back, lifting the heart, and above all, breathing deep. One last breath here. One more exhale, complete. And then releasing the pose.
And one last time to clear the body, you can cross the ankles and come back into plank. Strong hands to support the wrist, using all 10 fingertips. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, or maybe upward dog, bringing the hands closer to the hips. Exhale, stick out your tongue. Inhale, pulling the belly in, coming back for downward dog. Bending your knees, looking between your hands, and walking or hopping. And just coming forward with your seat between your hands. And we're going to come down all the way to the ground. So you could grab behind your knees here, or again, hands facing inward. And as slow as you can, roll down vertebra by vertebra, one piece at a time, all the way, release. And after all that strong leg work and core work, it might feel good to just let the knees wave side to side again. Letting the body sigh with deep, easy breath. I'm going to finish here today with happy baby pose. So with your tail long, reaching down into the ground, the back resting on the floor, bend your knees into the direction of your armpits, your shoulders, and you could just grab your behind your thighs under your knees. This is a great version of happy baby. Maybe it will feel good to grab your ankles or your shins. Some of you can reach all the way into your feet easily without your tail doing this, popping up. So again, you want to keep that tail down, energize your belly here. If you want to, put on those skinny jeans again, energetically, and then breathe deep. So the tops of your feet are reaching up, even as your tail is reaching long away from you and down. And then you might wiggle here or just roll a little bit side to side. Moving in any way that feels good, or simply settling into stillness and your loving breath. Remembering that quality of yourself to yourself and to the world. And then releasing your legs, letting your feet fall on the ground with your knees up, and coming into, again, a version of a resting pose that feels good. So that could be right here. This is a supported version of Shavasana with the bent knees. Your hips are a little bit softer and your lower back a little bit more relaxed. And if it feels good, you could extend your legs one at a time. Wherever you are, make sure you have a little bit of room between your feet, about hip distance or a little bit more. And then bring your arms by your side with the hands facing up, the biceps facing up, so that your shoulders can rest down. I like to even lift my heart a little bit and bring my shoulder blades a little bit closer together. It's going to give a little bit more lift for the chest. And then when I breathe deep, it lets my whole body say, into the floor. Make sure your head and your neck are right in the center. It might feel good to keep the head on the ground, but let the head roll to one side. And then feel your center again. Let the head roll to the other side. And come back to center. Give yourself a moment here to let the whole body settle into the floor. And with your inhales, notice all of the points of your body that are connected to the ground. And with your exhales, allow all of these points to settle down a little more. Noticing the length of your body. And with your exhales, releasing its weight. Making any final adjustments you need to, any small movements if something really feels necessary. But eventually, even letting go of that and returning with a little bit more objectivity, a little bit neutral, patient awareness as you rest your attention in the rise and fall of your natural breath. And then slowly and gently, and only when you're ready, begin to deepen your breathing. And take your time here. There is no rush. Just let the breath become longer and deeper. And again, every exhale, complete and relaxed. And when the body feels ready, when you're feeling light with the energy of your breath, start to wake up your physical body, moving small at first, and then just letting those small movements spontaneously get bigger. Perhaps reaching your arms overhead if you want to take one more big stretch. Just reach in all directions. And then give it a sigh, a deep release. Hugging your knees into the body can feel really nice. Nice way to remind yourself of your love. And then roll to one side to come up, resting for a moment with your head on your arm. And then use both hands and arms to help yourself up into any seat that feels comfortable, or you can sit up tall through your spine. And easy, relax. On an inhale, you can bring the arms over your head, and then exhale, hands to the heart. Thank you for taking the time to make yoga a part of your day. Thank you for your attention and your practice. May your practice benefit you and those around you. Namaste. Yeah, thanks again, everybody. If you've got the time and you'd like to hang out a little bit, just see other people, maybe chat,